episode 26 of the Ethan Young podcast. You're here. I'm ready. Let's go. If you've watched before, you know that I had no interest in the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial, and I was trying to stay out of it. My thought was, this is a personal matter. There's no reason for us to speculate. One, I can't understand why in the world somebody can monetize on their very, very personal family matter. And two, I can't understand why in the world that would be aired in the first place. But since that's the case, and I'm not, I guess it's more of a, if you can't beat them, join them. So I got into the whole deal, and I think I figured it out. As in, I get why people are interested in the trial, because depending on how long you've been interested in their movies, or depending on your taste in movies, you may have gotten a relationship on the screen based on their characters that they've played with either Johnny Depp or Amber Heard over a period of time. Now they're involved in a drama that is real life. So it's real life consequences, the things that take place thereafter. I forget what the D word is. Deposition, is it deposition? The decision, whatever. The decision that the jury is going to make is going to affect their real lives. It's going to affect their futures. And so I get why it's so interesting, because we listen to fictional stories and watch fictional stories on movies that are not near as interesting as this particular story. And we may not know the characters' backstories near as well as we know these two. So I get it now. It is gripping. It is very interesting. However, the things that I had heard before I stepped into it via third parties seemed to be in favor of Johnny Depp. So it almost seemed like it was in a way to protect Johnny Depp, so to speak. I don't know if it was just because of the timing. So the fact that I came in at the time that she's testifying. So Amber Heard is testifying at the time that I come in. Everything that she has said has shed negative light on Johnny Depp. So I'm not sure if that has swayed my opinion in the sense like, what did I miss? What did I not see in the beginning of the trial that would change my opinion? Because if he's even a fraction of the person that she's trying to make him out to be, he's a fucking monster. I mean, and that's my question too. So like, I kind of wonder, maybe I should just look up defamation. Maybe I don't understand what it is, but is the idea that he's saying this is 100% false, none of this has happened, and none of this is true? Or is the idea just like Johnny Depp is a human, and because he's made mistakes like a person, we shouldn't ruin the rest of his life and the rest of his career and his opportunity to make money again in the future because he made mistakes. I don't know why I keep saying that, because he made mistakes like every human does. So again, is it just the fact that we shouldn't be judging him so harshly upon mistakes, that whether they're as severe as he's done or been alleged to do or he's been alleged to do, we don't know, or most people probably not. You know what I mean? But point being, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody does things wrong. And it's not here to stand up for him. It's not here to say that what he did was okay. It looks like eventually he gets a doctor and hopefully got some real help. I mean, honestly, the part that I come in, he is giving her a cavity search. So, I mean, a couple of the first things that just stand up to me, like, unfortunately, I've done drugs before. Like, I don't do drugs anymore. I was going to say I'm clean, but like I smoke and, I drink occasionally. So it was like, it wouldn't be a full honest thing to say that. And so I wasn't going to say that. So that's why I started through that. My point in saying that is I have been under the influence of things that are very, very addicting. And the first thing that stands out to me is like, they're clear out in the mountains, right? So they're on this trip where they're going to take mushrooms up in the mountains or somewhere away. They're somewhere away, like around a campfire, camping in what she continues to call a trailer. And one thing I thought that was a little funny, because like my guess was like this thing that Amber Heard is referring to it as a trailer is probably an RV that costs more than any house that I'll ever live in. And so I thought it was really funny to keep hearing her call it a trailer, because it's probably some gorgeous RV that I would probably love, like in comparison to so many things. But that is not important. It was the first thing, in the sense that I understand the desperation of being so far away from your supplier and not knowing where you're going to get your next hit and being so paranoid that you may think that somebody stole or relocated your stash. And so it's like, I can see where he got so paranoid, but typically that's related to drug. It's related to an extreme high, typically. Another thing is the desperation. Again, it seems like that's typically related to an extreme high. And then it's just like, I don't understand. So one, I guess I didn't fucking know how much, I guess you think like everybody's maybe tried some drugs here and there, but like, the things that he does on a consistent basis sound like my teenage years, like things that I got out of my system when I was really young, luckily. But, they're just like going to go to a campground and do mushrooms around a campfire, and he's doing a bunch of cocaine and like, sounds like a great time. But, I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry. That could get a lot of people in trouble, just because, like I said, it is a very addicting drug. And so then you can understand, but no matter what, you can't cavity search anybody ever, you know what I mean? And then it's like, so is that true? And then it's like he kind of does that again later on. You hear her story about him later on again, kind of, you know what I mean? You could say it's not a cavity search at that time, but it's just like, even if those two events isolated even fractionally occurred, that's fucking terrible, And then the other facts that it's like, she's talked about how when they're up in the mountains and they're in this campground, this mushroom thing, the one person is like taking MDMA and they start getting a little too touchy-feely with her around the campfire. And then again, they're talking about that story on the plane where the flight attendant takes MDMA and then she gets a little touchy-feely, but like, what the fuck did he think was going to happen? Like, that more than anything seems like appropriate for the situation. Like, you would think, given the circumstances, that they've taken some drug that is known by people that don't even do drugs, that it's a touchy-feely drug. I mean, it has nothing to do with anything, but this one time I figure I don't ruin her life if I don't. Many people have heard the story, but I feel like I'm not continuing to spread the fire if I don't share who she is. But my point in saying that is I saw a girl one night that had a large dose of MDMA that literally dry humped a floor for a long period of time because she was so fucked up, which is like, she had to live with it. I think we got the fuck out of there. We went like to the bathroom and smoked or whatever. But I know some guys sat around and watched. And my point in saying that is it's a very touchy-feely drug. And obviously my situation was maybe on the extreme end. But for Johhny to get so insecure or possibly jealous about another woman touching Amber after he's literally given her MDMA, if the story is true, what the fuck did they expect after she ingested those drugs? Like, I don't understand that part. And then if he's even done a fraction of like grabbing all these people's elbows, grabbing all these people's wrists, threatening, telling them that he's going to fucking break their bones, telling her multiple different occasions that he's going to carve her face up. I mean, for God's sakes, it's like, again, did I just come in to this trial at the wrong time? How could anybody at any point stand up for Johnny Depp looking at all this? Or was it like kind of the opposite? They had only the beginning. They had only the information that they saw in the beginning. And so they had already made all these opinions and things like that. And I'm only seeing maybe the stuff at the end. And so now I'm making my opinions so stupid and non-related. But I remember when I was younger, when that movie Bring It On, the cheerleading movie, came out, I didn't watch any of the movie. My sister was watching it, and at the very end I watched the competition, and I was an unbiased person because, for instance, I was like, well, the green team won. I was like, the green team seemed like they did a cooler thing. Like, I just stepped in the room while my sister, they had really good commercials. I mean, I'm not going to say that the trailer for that movie was bad, and I later bought it on VHS, but point being, the unbiased me was like, the green team won. Then I buy the movie on VHS and I watch it, and you get attached to these characters. So you get attached to, like, what the fuck was her name, like Torrance or whatever, throughout the movie. And then by the end, you think that the red team won because of how much you love everybody on the red team. But really, like, again, my personal unbiased opinion when I'd never seen it before, and the first thing I saw was the competition at the very end, is I was like, the green team did a better job. But I just feel like it's the same thing. Maybe people already have some sort of love for one character or the other. And again, I shouldn't say again, I hate to call it characters. I feel like that's how it attracts so much attention and how everybody's so interested in it, in the sense that it is just a very serious, consequential, real life drama that has characters that, I mean, think of how big the Pirates franchise was. Like, think of how big so many movies that I remember waking up mornings after I left the TV on overnight and fucking seeing like Crybaby on in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Like, fucking, didn't Johnny Depp get like actor of the decade sometime recently in our history? Like, I feel like I remember an award show that sadly I was watching at some point or another. Who knows why? I don't know why. But I feel like he got like actor of the decade, didn't he? So my point in saying that is not only he been in movies forever, but he's been successful and good and attracted a good audience. And maybe that's why everybody was so called in maybe what I took in. And maybe I read everybody wrong, but it seemed like people were protecting Johnny Depp and talking shit about Amber Heard. But if you hear just any of these things, and I don't know if I left off on fucking him grabbing and threatening to break other women's wrists, multiple other women in front of her's wrists. But then also the fact that, yeah, then I said that he said he was going to carve her face up on multiple occasions. Like, okay. And then not to mention the amount of times that he struck her is fucking insane. Like, did I miss something? Like, is it the fact that, again, is it the thing in the beginning where I don't understand defamation? Is it the idea that none of this happened? This is all 100% false? She's literally up there, like, playing a role? Because, like, I don't know. What about that fucking video she's playing with him on the plane? He's literally just howling fucked up in the bathroom. Not to mention, okay, even if he did clean up some of those photos, even if some of those things, the wine glasses, the things that were thrown, the things that were broken, even if some of those things were cleaned up, there was clearly still something that had been thrown into the wall. There's clearly still wine everywhere, which, fuck, I guess if you get drunk, wine can spill pretty darned easily, unfortunately. So I'm not standing up for anybody, but my point in saying that, but the mark in the wall is pretty tough. The writing on the counter is pretty tough to say that, you know what I mean? So my point in saying that is, even if you stand up for him and you come up with a defense for all these things, even just like what he left on the counter, what was on the mirrors, something's going on, man. Like, it's like he clearly has some sort of the easiest way to put it would just be to say, like, again, and I don't know if I said this before, but if you're going through those things, those would be your worst days ever. Those would be your lowest fucking points of your life. That would be something you would never want to repeat. You would want to make a change. So, again, okay, so, I think I said, like, yeah, he does eventually try to get a doctor and try to get clean and things like that. So it's like, I think there is some acknowledgement that there's some sort of problem there. Like, there is some sort of, I mean, I want to call it addiction, because, again, the desperation that you see, the paranoia that you see, the rage, I mean, if she's even half of what she's made him out to be, she's made him look so fucking jealous. Like, about all the movies and with, like, he has to talk to the cast prior to, he has to tell her that, you know what I mean? It's like, didn't we kind of learn years ago, which this was before the whole fucking Me Too thing, but, like, didn't we learn during, like, 2017 to 2018, 5 years ago, that, like, that's how people were getting roles. The director's fucking casting couch was a real thing. It happened. It's, you know what I mean? So point being, he's giving her shit, as in saying, like, you're getting these nice roles because you're dressing scandalous and because you're calling her a whore, calling her a slut, like all these terrible things. But it's like, that's the fucking business. And it's like, she even mentions it sometime, like where he's talking shit about actors and he's like, while he is one, you know what I mean? It's like, it's so crazy. It's like, I don't know how you can stand up for a lot of these things that I've seen him exhibit as far as his behavior goes. It's like, I guess the thing is, again, we don't have evidence of all of it. You can only base it upon the photos and the videos that were clearly him. But if that's what I'm saying, if even a fraction of any of these stories is true, it's like, it doesn't look good, man. It doesn't look good at all. So I mean, I feel like, I'm sure there's more things to say about it. I feel like the fucking, I don't know who that mistress of objection is, man, but I might let her fucking ruin my life. I can't imagine the guy that has the balls to get into a relationship with her, or especially a serious relationship, because if you knew that you had to fucking fight her if things didn't go right, that would be some... I bet if you were in the relationship, you would never be right. I think in a relationship with that mistress of objection, and I'm sorry, I don't know her name. She's the one that objects to fucking everything. In 2 years, they're going to have a movie. They're going to be fucking playing this. And I guess, I don't know who's going to play it, because Johnny Depp can't play Johnny Depp, or, you know what I mean? Yeah, I was going to say, I hadn't said anything yet, but the thought that I had, I think is pretty obvious. They may have him play him for all we know. You know what I mean? I should not rule that out. It would be silly to have to look back in 2 years or however long it takes them to make this into a movie. But the fucking guy that's going to be played by Andrew Garfield, Johnny Depp's lawyer, is just going to be like, you will never get in trouble for objecting too little. Too much. You can only get in trouble for objecting too little. He's like, if you just get tired of fucking hearing what Amber Heard is saying, you object. If you're bored of what's going on, you object. If you're not sure, you fucking object. Like, it's amazing. She will object for absolutely everything. And I gotta be honest, I don't fucking get it. That must be part of the whole defamation definition that I missed, because why can't she say what she said? Why can she? And then sometimes the mistress of objection allows her to talk. And I think it's because she's normally saying something negative about herself, or she's saying something that makes her look bad. So like, sometimes they'll allow it. Sometimes there is no objection. But why can't she say what she said? I don't understand half that. I don't understand why the fuck... Again, if I had to imagine how it goes, they were just like, you object. Anytime you possibly can, fucking object. Because the way I'm reading it from knowing nothing is, there must be no punishment for objecting too much, right? There's clearly no punishment. There's no which, for God's sakes, to be honest, she objects 40 times and she's wrong once. Like, that girl is fucking dedicated. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you would not want to, that girl I would let her ruin my life, to be honest, because she's just so powerful, and somehow that seems attractive, and I don't know what it is. I must have a problem, but yeah, you would just know that if ever anything went wrong, she was going to nail you to the fucking wall. Because again, I don't think she would ever let somebody be right, really. But that's just my take. My eyes are watering because I guess I'm a little nervous about saying that. But yeah, why is Amy Schumer there? What to Johnny's left on a consistent basis? I don't understand. Like, I mean, she despite all of her joke thievery, has somehow made her way into goddamn near everything, even lately. But why is she in the trial? That part I don't understand. She's just sitting next to fucking Johnny Depp on the left side, which, I mean, he has got an incredible team, right? Like, if you're watching this as a spectator, and again, I've only seen the Amber Heard side so far, her testimony, which was like, I mean, I didn't even watch all of it. It was like fucking 14 hours, wasn't it? Like something crazy, for God's sakes, which is, it's kind of nice actually if you don't watch it live, because then you can just fast forward through all those times when they go up and they're like, you know, need to talk about her objection, for instance, and need to clear it up, because the judge is like, imagine that judge has to deal with that. She has to deal with all those for real, though, and not get, like, upset and not get overwhelmed and not be like, bitch, fuck, let her talk. You know what I mean? Like, she has to treat it like an actual adult, unfortunately. But, I don't know. It just sounds like he was struggling in so many different areas based on the things that she was allowed to say, the things that she was still allowed to share, and weren't objected, which seemed like more like what her feelings and what he said to her. She was not allowed to say what she said unless it was negatively affected her, and then they didn't object for some reason. But that just doesn't look good from my perspective. So you guys tell me in the comments, what did I miss? What did the beginning of the trial show that, I mean, obviously he's a super, what's that word? Like when you can get people on your side damn near immediately. You can make a rapport with people just by the way you act, just by the way you carry yourself. You can make people feel comfortable immediately. Like he has that. I don't know what that is. I forget. There's a word for it, but like charm. He has charm, right? So like he's very charming. So that's, I mean, duh. Maybe that's it. That's another thing. He's gotten a little bit bigger over the years, huh? Because you look back at like the photos of like when this was actually happening, right? Because that's another thing too. Is like, how are they fucking? I mean, can you imagine trying to give detailed? I guess I was gonna say it would be tough to do that, but again, I guess if these were some of your lowest days ever, you may remember them. They may stand out more than, say, some other moments. Whereas, like, otherwise, I feel like I'm lucky to be in this moment. I'm lucky to not be so inside my head. I'm lucky to so not be. I know I've tried to describe it before, but what seems like a tunnel where I'm just fucking echoing narration above me, and I'm focused on so little things when right here in front of me, I actually have so much that it seems like you're not taking in as much as you can, and it's so tough just to do that. But don't know how I got into that. Probably just because I'm constantly trying to focus on it. I'm constantly trying to not be in the goddamn future or in the past, and just find a way to be here. And it's so weird how hard that is. And this trial in itself, and whatever fraction of those 14 hours that I fucking did ingest, sure doesn't help with that. And it would have been easy to avoid. Like, I thought was like, it's almost like I thought it was like the ethical thing to do somehow, but it's like it doesn't help. But who the fuck is Steve? Like, do I not understand something? Like, why when they're reading text messages does it say fucking Steve? Who's Steve? What did I miss? Who's Steve in this whole deal? Like, you know what I mean? They'll be reading text messages and it'll be as if it's from Johnny Depp, but it'll say Steve on her phone. Like, I don't think I get that. I don't understand that whole thing. But I will be right back. I'm back. And you guys are just going to have to tell me what I missed. You're going to have to tell me, because again, I think something makes a big difference where when I first come in, again, all of the story that I'm getting is entirely from Amber's side. So everything I've heard is entirely on Amber Heard's side. So maybe that makes a difference as to my opinion and makes a difference as to how I feel about the whole thing. But what did I miss that can override everything that she said? You know what I mean? What part of the story is there that needs to be added? And another thing, I think I even mentioned, she said something terrible. My video cut out at that time for some reason, or maybe that's just when it cuts out, or maybe it stops at that point because it gets so serious. But like, she's like crying her face off at one point during the testimony where I don't understand exactly what she's saying, but she's clearly saying that she's like, there's glass all over the floor, there's glass all over the counter, there's broken shit everywhere. And I don't know what she's saying he's doing to her, but it doesn't sound good. Whatever it is, it doesn't sound good. And I guess the only thing is, out of everything, is like, it's unfortunate that people lie about these things. It's unfortunate that there are women that relationships did not go the way that they expected them to. They didn't turn out the way that they had dreamed or hoped for. And then they will lie about another man and what they've done. And so I guess it's unfortunate that that happens. And therefore, in these situations, when we hear these things, we can't just say, that's a fucking honest to God testimony account of what exactly happened. But then it's like you take into these things like, I didn't read or know anything about, but like, I think I heard on JRE that Doug Stanhope had written something about how Amber Heard was making stuff up years ago. So it's like, fuck. It's like, then you realize, okay, this person that I have now heard their entire side of the story, and it seems like it's honest because she seems like she's just hurt, and he's insecure about everything. He's insecure about every single thing that happens, which isn't that kind of crazy to think? Isn't it crazy to think that even still a person that's been actor of the decade, that's been a main star of some of the best franchises of like fucking what, Disney, of so many generations, like, you know, younger people, even older people, he's been around forever, and he's still insecure? If any of that stuff that she's saying, and sometimes you wonder, like, if he is as angry as she says, like if he is easy to explode as she says, you wonder if, like, when she's giving her testimony, she's kind of poking at him a little bit. Like, that's one thing that I guess you can see, like, where she's like, like, for instance, she says he hit her through. I don't mean to smile. I don't mean to smile about that because it's a bad thing to be saying and smiling. But my thought afterwards is funny. Is like, to me. So I shouldn't say. If you say that, it's not funny. But she said, like, he hit her 3 times in the face, and it didn't hurt physically. And you know what I mean? It's like she's basically calling him a bitch in front of everybody. Like, she's saying that he's a little bitch, that it's like a little girl, you know, but saying that in front of everybody. And so it's like, for instance, if you think about him, somebody that would be willing to explode over nothing, and where he does seem like where one little thing can so easily affect his ego, and then he's going to be literally screaming in her face. And it's like they make up and they make up and they make up, and then he's screaming and he's freaking out. And two, it sounds like if what she was saying about like him being on so many opiates and things like that, I mean, depending on how many he'd had and how long it'd been since he'd had them, I mean, you know what I mean, relationships that he had with opiates could be absolutely terrible. And some of the photos that she showed, for instance, were him 100% passed out, which I think, unfortunately, the guys that I had seen do that were actually doing heroin. And so what I was going to say is, like, I've seen people driving their goddamn cars passing out, you know what I mean, just falling asleep over and over again. But normally it's like fucking heroin or something like that. But some of these pills, especially like she was talking about Roxy and things like that, those are like the fucking highest dosage of I mean, probably not the highest, but some of the highest, most lethal fucking opiates that you can get. So the stuff that he has is no fucking joke. You know what I mean? Even though it is synthetic and it is made in a laboratory, and he's getting it from doctors who sound like they're even keeping him going during movies, which, again, I mean, you can't, I don't know that all of that can be proven, but she's got the videos of him passed out. She's got the stories of him fucking passing out over and over again, spilling wine on her over and over again after he's already said that he's done. Yeah, I just, I don't know. Sure doesn't look good. Sure doesn't look good, but maybe I missed something. You guys will have to tell me in the comments what your opinion has been, what your take has been on the whole thing, and how you believe it's been either misconstrued by one side or the other, or maybe what parts of the story have been important that you think would have affected your decision or the way you feel about it. Crazy to see how many people care. It really is. It's really insane how many people care, but it seems to be a hot topic, which is crazy. I'm interested to see how it all works out. Yep. I just think it's crazy to think that he's so insecure. I think it's crazy to think that after all that success as an actor and being so wealthy and having his own island and all that stuff, that if he's even possibly the things that he's saying, that he's so insecure. I mean, you can understand jealousy. I guess people get jealous. It seems like they have a very, I don't know, I've heard people say that, the passion can sometimes, unfortunately, also has like that other side, which is like jealousy and things like that, where it's like it seems like it's a good thing maybe at first, but then it turns into what can be what is it, the word, I guess, just where you're what is it in Wedding Crashers, clinger, I guess is the idea. But no, they seem like they had a mutual relationship. She even on the stand multiple times talks about how much she loves him. I think I can be done talking about it. I think that was all my points, but again, I'd be interested to see somebody else's points and what you guys have to say about it. But yeah, I feel like there was one other thing I was trying to think of. It's so interesting how we went from it was like the war in Ukraine just was not interesting enough anymore. It's interesting how right as that kind of falls out of everybody's opinion or everybody's zeitgeist, it's interesting how the war in Ukraine becomes less interesting to everybody, and then all of a sudden they introduce this reason to fight about abortion. It's like, oh, okay, war's not bothering you anymore. There's no reason for you guys to fight about war. It's not close enough to home to affect you in a negative way. Because I think that's it. I think that, but point being, they're just like, okay, here, why don't you go ahead and fight about abortion? Why don't you go ahead and have some sort of polarizing fight about abortion instead? If we can't get you to fight about war. But it seems like it's just because it's not close enough to home, right? If it was closer to home, I think the average American would be able to more empathetically look into it and feel affected by it. But I just think the fact that it's not close enough, it's not gonna hopefully America doesn't get involved. I guess unfortunately we are involved in some way or another, in the sense that like we just sent another $33 billion. It's funny, I had that like episode, I don't remember if it was like 2021, something like that, a while back, where like I was making a big deal. I was like, holy shit, they sent $2.4 billion, and now they sent another 33. So I guess that's another good thing too. Good thing that nobody else is interested in hearing about it anymore. So that way the news of fucking $33 billion more in aid doesn't just because again, somehow in my eyes, and I refer back to the fact that there was that quote from John McCain a long time ago where he was like, those amounts of money are not that big when you're talking in the amounts of money, the budget of the American economy. They're actually very, very small. And so somehow still $2.4 billion sounded like a great deal of money. And now they're just adding $33 billion to that. Like, I don't know why. Again, that just seems like a shitload of money. But I guess for the defense companies, they're in a great position. And I guess anybody that has stocks or interest in defense companies would be in a great position to benefit as well. So, yeah, hopefully somebody aside from our leaders and lawmakers got in on that, huh? So hopefully we're not the only ones that missed out on that. Hopefully they, as well as some other average Americans, as I mentioned before, got in on that. Was like, hey, I think I should fucking invest in defense stocks. That I feel like there's some reason that's gonna fucking really turn up here. The other thing I thought that was attention worthy, maybe, that I caught out of the Ukraine-Russian war at this point was I saw that Russia was using trained dolphins in the Black Sea to defend a naval base, and I just thought that was like, I don't know, that's really cool. Like it makes me immediately think there was like a Simpsons episode a long time ago where like the dolphins got out of the water and they took over, and they of course we know that they're much smarter, or it seems like there's evidence to point to the fact that they could be a lot smarter than we once thought. And some people even say they're like second second in line, as if somehow we immediately get the top spot. I think we get the top spot because there are actually intelligent humans, whether, there are a lot of us that are below that average line, and there's a lot of us that are, or I shouldn't say a lot, there's some that are way up above. So maybe it's fair to say that humans are on the top of that scale, but I have heard people say that dolphins are pretty far, so pretty cool that the Russians were able to do that. Not to say that anything that the Russians are doing is cool, but training fucking dolphins, man, that's pretty awesome. I think we may, I don't know. I guess my thought was we may find out again that they're even smarter than we realize, and I guess the idea would be if you could communicate, that would be a way to qualify the thought of how intelligent they are, if somehow we could communicate with them, but they could be on such a higher level than we even realize, that you know what I mean, we may seem like a kindergartner, like they may talk to us and be like, God, I can barely get through to this guy, it's like talking to a wall, you know what I mean, he can't pick up anything, like, who, my point is like we say that we're the first, I think that's the general consensus, is that we're the first, but there may be, when we try to qualify that, we may find out that they're, who knows, maybe more intelligent. Or what about fucking octopuses, dude? What about a fucking house? They don't, I mean, I don't know enough about them, but what the fuck? How, I don't know. They are, I've heard Joe Rogan say they're from a different world, but it's pretty fucking amazing, isn't it? Like, I thought I read some headline, which everything you read on the internet's true, right? I mean, that's the dumb thing that everybody says now, but, cause obviously, yeah, Jesus, guy, they have like fucking brains in their like tentacles or whatever. Didn't I read that? Doesn't that sound fucking like something you've read about an octopus? They just have so much interesting shit to them. It's fairly amazing. So my point is, maybe as we find out more about all these things, we may realize that they are possibly even more intelligent than we ever thought. But Russia always seems to be on the cutting edge, whether it's steroids and the Olympics, or this attack on Ukraine, and using dolphins, and just making sure they're covering all their bases. That they, I just thought that was pretty cool. Not to make any jokes. It's tough to say anything about it, right? I mean, that like you're seeing like, or I don't know, I'm seeing the amount of death that Ukraine has claimed that Russia has done is fucking insanity. And so if it's even, again, I guess you just have to take like, okay, if it's even a fraction, it's still really bad. It's still a lot of people dying. It's still a lot of people's lives affected. You know what I mean? Like, if I say I'm fucking empathetic and I can feel how it's a real life consequence for either one of two people in this trial between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, clearly who knows, hundreds, thousands, all of the people that have been killed in Ukraine. I mean, clearly that's probably not even a something you could quantify enough to try to take on. And if you could, it'd probably be like, there's that situation. I'm embarrassed to admit it, but isn't there like some scene in some Marvel movie where that girl like reads that other dude's mind, and then he fucking the vision that she gets scares her, because it's like, she's like, I saw what he was trying to do. Maybe it was Thanos. Didn't she like touch Thanos or something like that? Yeah, it's just like, it's terrible. I don't know how I got on that. I'm so embarrassed that I mentioned it. It's like, but it's funny. We were watching that first Doctor Strange movie, and my son fucking, I just was honest with him. I was like, when I was younger, I had a big crush on Rachel McAdams. I was like, I really thought she was attractive. And he was like, what a simp. And I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, I can't use some of these terms that the kids use just because it doesn't feel right. It's just like if you use a word that's too smart for you and you want to use it to look cool, but you use it in the wrong place. Like, I guess I don't feel like I'm going to do that, but I feel like it's the wrong place, just me saying it. I feel like just me speaking what a simp. Like, I can't believe my son ever said that. Like, people are, you're like so proud of your kid when they talk for the first time, right? And then it's just like, over the years, you're so proud of them as they develop this ability to speak, right? But then, yeah, you end up with that. it was just so obvious where I was going with that. It was just very clear what the point I was trying to make was. So it was like, it didn't feel like it made sense to move on. And I couldn't think of any fun turn to make. I should have maybe thought about it in advance. I probably would just say something dumb normally. I just say something very immature if I try not to think, you know what I mean? If I try to improv, I guess that's the idea. You do it for a while, right? And then you're able to say things maybe a little more intelligent. But yep, tell me, did you guys ever see that episode? The Treehouse of Horror were always my favorite Simpsons episodes. Of The Simpsons, I always loved the Treehouse of Horror episodes. I don't know if it's the fact that Halloween is right next to my birthday, so I always had probably a little extra, maybe what felt like fucking, apparently when you shake around your body like a dolphin, it's oxytocin or, you know, whatever the fuck, what is the other one, the good one, serotonin. There's like, you know, apparently that's what serotonin looks like in my body. I shake like a dolphin. But the Treehouse of Horror were always some of my favorite Simpsons Simpsons episodes, and those were the Halloween episodes, and they basically, each episode didn't have to have any chronological effect on the other future episodes, so they could just go nuts. And one of them was the Dolphins took over the world and they held everybody hostage, and of course I think they were pissed at like the people that made them fucking jump for fish and shit like that at SeaWorld. Like I think if I remember correctly, they fucked them up first, so at least we'll have a minute while they're getting their revenge, right, on the people like in Russia that forced them to fucking wear laser beams on their head or whatever it was. I really don't remember exactly what it was, but I think it was something like that. I think Putin had fucking laser beams on top of dolphins in the Black Sea to protect the naval base. Pretty badass. I mean, you gotta hand it to him. He's using all of his resources. Are we doing that? Maybe we just don't know about it. But I guess again, hopefully we don't have to get involved too much. It's funny as I just keep sinking lower and lower and lower and lower. I just like I'm like fucking going behind this mic. I'm like falling behind this mic. I guess I'm getting too comfy with you. But now I'm getting close to the mic and I breathe hard. Yeah, I think there was some other point I was trying to make. Oh, I was just trying to say that, like, it seems like she's trying to fuck with him a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, she at first says like he hits like a bitch. She didn't say that, but she just said that he hit her 3 times. And it didn't affect her at all. It was she was not physically harmed. And then she's also laying on the ground. She's like, I never realized how filthy our floors were. I couldn't stop thinking about how filthy the floor was. And it's just like funny because, like, I mean, some of the pictures you see, they have fairly nice things. You know, you would assume he's got money. If he's got an island, you would think he's not putting like a fucking trailer on it. No offense, because I've seen some nice trailers, but apparently the resale value is not very good on them. Apparently the return on investment is always pretty much a negative thing when you get a trailer. So my point in saying that is you would think somebody with money enough to buy an island wouldn't put trailers on it, and maybe for tools or something like that, maybe for maintenance stuff, who knows, you know what I mean? It'd be stupid to say that. He may have, but you would think that they're not in something like that. And now that I'm protecting that, I barely even remember what the fuck I was trying to say. Oh, just that it seemed like she was fucking with him a little bit. Oh yeah, so you would think if he's trying to keep all these nice things and he has all these wonderful things, my thought is, again, to say that his shit's gross and dirty would be negative, but maybe I'm just misreading that. And then also, like, I don't know, it could be, again, like misreading it or like judging it differently, but she'll be like, he had a small role in a movie in London, which maybe that's just something that actors and actresses say, like where it's like if they only had a few lines, it's a small role. If they're a major player, it's like a leading role or whatever it is. Maybe small role is just a term, but I guess the further I started looking into it, it was like, man, it seems like she's saying a lot of things that if he was this explosive guy, that it would probably really bother him. But yeah, another thing, like it's true that, like she said, that like right after they got married, he went and had met up with a woman in like LA or something like that, like literally right after he got back from the wedding. I mean, that's you know what I'm saying? Like, you guys have just had to tell me what I missed. I didn't think I was going to go back into it. I went into Russia, Ukraine, but again, it's good that they've got all these wonderful stories. So it's like kind of pick your poison. It's like, oh, are you interested in war? No, not so much. Here, what about abortion? Not so much. Not interested in abortion. What about fucking scandal? What about adultery? What about large sums of money? What about private islands? What about, you know what I mean? They're like, what is it that you're interested to? And we're just going to keep fucking going to the bank, as George Carlin said. You know, it's like, it's just interesting how there's always something to fight about, always something for us to get in between us. But I have to have missed something on this one. There has to be something that I just wasn't aware of. Oh my God. I had this dumb thought. I was looking at my phone. I was like, what the fuck is this? I haven't read through it, and I barely even remember fucking having it. Do you ever do that? Do you ever write shit down and you're just like, what the fuck is that? Should I just read it? I should just read it, huh? Let's just read it. Let's find out what it is together. That's so embarrassing. Should I do it? I shouldn't do it. My body says no. My mind's telling me no. One of the things that I wrote that I thought was kind of interesting is that, do you ever like meet people that it seems like it's probably one of those dumb, obvious things. It's like, yep, that happens. We all know it. It's so obvious you don't even need to say it. Please don't waste my fucking time. Well, now by the time I said all that, I could have just, my thought was, do you ever meet people that spend so much time telling you that they're awesome that they forget to be awesome? That was, but again, I think that's a pretty obvious thing. I think everybody probably runs into that. One of the other dumb thoughts that I had, I'm not sure how much, you know what I mean? Somehow I thought it was mind blowing. Somehow, I don't know if there was anything involved that may have possibly affected my opinion, but when I looked at the fact that they hold people, so if they want to keep you away from the population and they want to take your so-called freedom, they put you in a jail cell. So they hold you in a cell. And then we, on a constant basis, in some ways, voluntarily give up our freedom to our cell. And I was like, it's just one of those situations where I was like, I was probably smoking too much, and I probably was just like, this is more profound to me than it is to somebody else. But in some ways, isn't that true? Like, isn't, like, I still struggle. As I said, I certainly struggle to be present, but also struggle because I know that my phone can take me. In some senses, you feel like it can, like, take you away. But is it like taking you away in the same way that the book cart did for somebody that sat in a jail cell rotting for the rest of their life? Is it giving you that adventure that you need to take your mind to a different place because you don't want to realize the present moment? Where in the same way, this cell can take us away from the present moment. You're pretty much never in. I mean, I guess you can use it maybe to help you be more present. So I guess not you can't say always. I guess always is a tough thing anyway. It always is a tough thing, right? You can't. It's very tough to make things 100% one way or the other. So sometimes, and now because I'm saying that, I forgot what the fuck I was talking about. I guess sometimes your phone could be used to keep you present, but I would say most of the time when you're using your phone, it's taking you somewhere else. It's keeping you away from what's here. It's keeping you away from what's coming in through your 2 ears, or what would be coming in through your 2 ears on the side. What you could be viewing with your from both peripherals all the way to the other peripheral, from to up to down. You know what I mean? What you could be maybe really feeling, what you could be feeling as where you're sitting, or you could be feeling as to where your back is. You know what I mean? Or where your neck is, or whatever it is. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's like it takes you away from all of that. It takes you away from this moment. And I almost like, is that in the same way that a prisoner is in a jail cell to take away their freedom? Does this cell take away our freedom, so to speak? Or was I just too high? I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. The other day I was driving, and there was a woman that was completely stopped 100% in the middle of the highway. And though it was a highway, there was some houses like right next to the road. Just unfortunate that they have at the very edge of their yard a fucking 4-lane highway. And so, for instance, she was 100% stopped. So luckily I noticed, and I didn't 100% slam the fuck into her, because it would have been very easy to rear end her or have somebody rear end me. You could easily see somebody not paying attention and not expecting in the middle of a highway where there's no cross streets or no intersections or no lights or no stop signs or anything like that somebody would be stopped. But what the woman would seem, it was a woman, what the woman was stopped for is there was a fucking dog brawl. So as an example, there was somebody that was walking along the side of the road and another person that was in their house, in one of these houses along the side of the road. They had their dog and the dog that was there. They're going at it. They're fighting. They're jumping on each other. The owners are fucking. The lady that's on got the dog on the leash is trying to hold the dog back. She can't even. She can barely hold the dog. She barely has enough strength to keep the dog. The dogs are going together. The guy, same thing that's at the house, again has the dog on a leash. He can't hold the dog back. So the dogs are just going crazy. So for instance, my first thought is, what the fuck are you gonna do from your fucking car? Is the idea, because the only thing that I could think of later is like, oh, were you concerned that one of these dogs was going to bolt and then they were going to run out into the highway and then they were going to get hit by all these cars that may not be paying attention? Because in my opinion, fucking find a place to pull over. There was an area 100 yards up on the side of the road where people park to go to this lake. So for instance, she could have easily just stopped, pulled over if she really needed to get involved. But two, what are you going to do? What the fuck are you going to do with two strangers' dogs fighting? So if two strangers' dogs are fucking snarling and jumping at each other and their owners cannot control them, their owners cannot hold them back from fighting from each other, again, my first thought, what the fuck are you going to do? Two, why would you stop in the fucking road? Three, you're going to get between two strangers' dogs that have no fucking idea who you are? Like, it just blows my mind. Like, all it did was cause the traffic to obviously stop forever. And then she bolts off. So, like, almost like she could see me. I didn't honk. I didn't get close to her. You know how sometimes when you're like, at a stop sign and people want you to move, or at a stoplight and people want you to move, even if the light's still red, they'll like come up to your car and stop, and come up to your car and stop, and come up to your car and stop. And it's like, I'm going to move when the light moves. I'm going to move when the guy in front of me moves. I get it. You think that there's enough, there's too much space. I'm sorry, whatever. You know, point being, like, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything to possibly make her think that I should move. And then she just bolted off at like 60 miles an hour, you know, and it's like, all right, dude, it just seemed like I can't see any reason why you would do that. I can't see, I guess, again, so my first thought is to try to play devil's advocate for myself is like, somebody is, she wants to get involved. She's concerned that they're going to jump into the road. And then it's like, my third thought is like, unfortunately, like, I don't want to paint her out to be Michael Vick, but maybe she's trying to get a good shot. You know what I mean? Because she literally was stopped on the right side of the road, exactly in front of the dogs. So the dogs were directly outside her passenger window. So it would have been a perfect way to like stick up your phone or something that records and get a video. So that's the only other thing. Again, I don't want to paint her out to be like Michael Vick, but she could pretty easily have been trying to get the best footage or whatever it is. But I just can't see. I mean, isn't it even like the fucking suggestion when dogs are fighting to not get in the fucking middle of it? You're not gonna make it better. You're just gonna make shit worse for you. Let it play out, right? I mean, like, maybe I don't know. Maybe it's like, yes, put your human hands in front of two dogs where they're biting each other and clawing at each other. You should put your soft human skin in between those sharp teeth from both animals that can't be held back by the owners that they spend all their time with as a stranger. Like, what I was going to say, what did I miss? But that was the fucking Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing. I didn't mean to necessarily talk about that so much. Again, I think it's just an interesting drama that we're all interested to see how it's going to play out. But you guys got to tell me. You got to tell me, who the fuck is Steve? Tell me who Steve is, because I think I must have missed that. Also, what did I miss in the Johnny Depp part that would counter what she's saying? Like, I guess I heard, yeah, she took a shit somewhere, right? I just heard that from like Instagram and stuff like that, and then somebody else talking about it. But if any of these things that she showed, as far as his drug use, his fucking abuse, his habits, like, it's like it doesn't, I don't think it makes up for anything that he must have said. But I just maybe wasn't here for that part of the fucking, I was gonna say movie again, but real life one. I hope you guys will like and subscribe. I hope that you'll like this wonderful video, and I hope you will subscribe so that way you can tune in again. I know there are many people that tune in that are not subscribers, and I would love to have you as a subscriber so that way you can see the video right when it comes out and I post it, and it'll let you know if you have the ring notification on. So please feel free to subscribe. We as in me, Ethan, the guy that's talking and slumped over like a fucking jackass, would love to have you subscribe, and I appreciate you tuning in no matter what, and I enjoy you listening. I enjoy talking to you. Hope that you leave a comment and tell me what you think about the whole thing. Tell me what I missed. Tell me what in the hell we're gonna do here. But tell me what you think about Dolphins too. I'd be interested to hear that. But appreciate you tuning in. Like the video, subscribe to our channel, my channel, the Ethan Young channel, with the Ethan Young podcast that comes out at least once a week. I'd love to have you listen to it. I'd love to have you see it every time it comes, and I hope to chat with you next week. Appreciate you tuning in, and take care of yourself. Thanks, guys. Love you. Bye-bye.